What's going on, everybody? It's Colton Ingram. Welcome to the Hunt Hard Outdoor channel. Hopefully you've seen some of my other videos. If this is the first, then welcome in. Today we're going to be going over my 2025 setup. Ultimately what I chose to go with for archery mule deer, archery antelope. Didn't draw any other tags, maybe go somewhere else, but this is what I ultimately came down to. I tried different broadheads, tried different arrow shafts, tried different fletchings, configurations of the fletchings, all of these things, and ultimately came down to the setup, and this is what I'm going to be using. So first off, probably everybody's biggest thing is what broadhead are you using? So the broadhead I'm using is this Evolution Outdoors. This is the Jekyll. It's a fixed blade. They do have a wide option now. They did not whenever I was doing all my stuff, but this one is my fixed blade version, Evolution Outdoors. Second up, also Evolution Outdoors. What I love about these guys is no matter what you are using, whether you want to go mechanical, whether you want to go fixed, they fly the exact same, and all you got to do is change out the blades. There's little screws in here, a pin for the mechanical. Really easy. They send you everything you need in order to do so. And I just figured I'd show this. Whenever you order 6 of them, you actually get a practice head. That's what their practice head looks like. And it does shoot exactly the same. So that's a really nice option. When it also comes down to the arrow, this one I tried a bunch of different companies and ultimately landed on Kühle Archery and Ngulebe's. This arrow shaft is super tough. It's a centrifugal weave 3K. They also have some 1K options, 4 mils, the 5 mils, and this is their 2-piece system. They offer a 1-piece, so it does have a half out in here, and then this is a collar that goes over. I've missed the target, hit rocks, no issues whatsoever. On this end, I'm going to be running DCA Super Sabres. I've tried hybrid HPs, all the other, the Atlas Vein, loved all of those, but the way that the DCAs did, I ultimately went with them. 3 fletch, 2-degree left helical, 2-degree offset, and then an AAE IP5 knock, which does come with Kühle arrows. Like I said, this is the Ngulebe. It says .003 straightness, but didn't have one of them that even whenever I threw the broadhead on, that it was super wobbly. Spun all of them with a broadhead, and they've all done super well. Super pumped for this arrow. You can check them out too. They're pretty cool. Next thing up is, this is going to be the release I'm using. Spot Hogg Wise Guy. This one does have the boa. It's offered in a strap. It's also offered in a buckle, I believe. But I've really liked it. It's pretty foolproof. I like how it's stiff and it doesn't twist or turn or anything of that sort. But I also keep my hand pretty flat in my anchor and as I draw back. So not real worried about that little tongue right there slipping off the D-loop. Next up, I guess we'll move into what everybody really cares about, which is what bow. So I'm going to be using the Realm SR6 from Bowtech. Yes, it's an older bow, but it's been very, very good to me. It's fast. I'm running it in the performance setting, 29.5-inch draw. And then I'm running the HHA Tetra RYZ X3, so 3-pin slider. Sight tape, precision cut archery, Redline, Anvil quiver. I don't think that they even make these anymore, but it's a great one. 365, I believe this is the 8-inch stabilizer, wrist sling, and then the Q80 long draw, so I can get those arrows short as possible for my preference. This bow's, these Ngulebe's from Kühle Archery, coming out of the bow around 302 feet per second. I will get a 60-yard distance here after a little while, so I can get away from the quick start and get a really good tape on it. But even the quick start got me really close. It got me closer than the actual HHA tape, so that's really cool. But ultimately, I run the Tetra RYZ on every single one of my bows. I know that there's probably a bow in the background that y'all can see that does not have an HHA Tetra, but I really liked them. Really easy to get done what I need to get done. I like that it has 3 pins. 5 pins to me, it's just too busy in there. And when you're in the heat of the moment, you just want it as simple as possible. So by going with a 3 pin, I don't have to worry about a whole bunch of stuff going on in there. Now with this bow, I did do the .019 on my Revolt X. I have the .10s. The .9 to me is really awesome for hunting. The .10s are great for 3D, for hunting still, but ultimately the Revolt X will be my backup bow. And it just came down to a string malfunction with a different manufacturer, but got the old strings on it. They're still okay, so it will be my backup. But probably the key components to this is the arrow. I know that the bow makes a big difference and the shooter makes a big difference, but whenever it comes down to what's leaving that bow, that's the biggest thing in my opinion. So a good broadhead. These are all cut on contact, whether that be this fixed head, the Jekyll, or even the Whitetail Fury. The Whitetail Fury is a very wide cut. I can go ahead and open one just so you guys can see. It's not that bad. I can just put a new pin in there. Doesn't take any time. But the Whitetail Fury is a very wide cut. I mean, that is about the size of my palm. I believe it's a 2-inch cut on each side. And once again, you have that cut on contact no matter what. And it's just a really good system. Like I said, I can take these blades out of the Jekyll and throw them in this Whitetail Fury, or if I wanted a smaller cutting diameter, I could go with the hide. And it would be a smaller mechanical. Once again, they do make a wide version blade now, so that's another cool thing. You don't have to go out and buy a whole new broadhead. This ferrule, the green part of this, is interchangeable with any of their blades. So there's a solid, even a dangerous game that you can still use this ferrule. All it's going to do is add 25 grains to it. So rather than having a 100 grain head, you're going to have 125. So if you do want to bump up to a 125, all you got to do is throw those dangerous game solid blades on there. Second part of that is an arrow shaft that's going to last. So the Kühle Archery, there's a bunch of videos on them that you can go check out, but they are tough. I mean, super tough. I've enjoyed shooting them. I'm not going to mention what shafts I shot. Those are in previous videos. I thought I was going to shoot one, but this one right here is lighter than a lot of the competitors out there. It comes in at an 8.0 GPI at a 300 spine. And then with that, throwing a lot of point weight in, this 2-piece system, FOC is like 15-16%. And then they do offer a 1-piece. So if you are wanting to go lighter and the FOC doesn't really do what that's not what you're going after, then definitely could look into the 1-piece. I would even use the 1-piece if I wanted to go lighter, but this total arrow is about 417. If I throw a 125 on there, I'll be right there at the like that 440, 450 range. And I wouldn't be afraid to do it with this 300 spine. Of course, check with your draw length, arrow length, all of those things. Make sure you're looking at what spine is best for you. Like I said, this is a .003 straightness, but I didn't have any that gave me like severe wobbles. And I did test some this year that I did see a bunch of wobbles in. But I'm very interested to see the flight of these DCAs has done well. These shafts were super easy to tune. I like the collar system. They've proven to be really tough. Even if, like when I was broadhead tuning, if my practice tip hit that collar, it didn't peel it up, it didn't crack it. Of course, I flexed it, and it's a really good arrow. The way it's designed is very similar to like rifling of a barrel. So I did see a speed increase, and that was really cool. And don't also be worried about where it says 5.2, that's just outside diameter. This is an IP5 knock, fits perfect. All of your components, if there's a component that you love, whether that be a hit system or just a different company's outsert, insert, collar, whatever you are into, they will fit. There's always an ID and OD on the website. But yeah, Evolution Outdoors, Kühle Archery, Spot Hogg, Wise Guy, HHA, all of them have been really, really good for me. Anytime I've ever had a question, that's another really cool thing about Kühle is if you got a question, most of the time you're going to be talking straight with the owner. The owner Bo is awesome. No matter what question I had, or if there was an issue, which I haven't really had an issue with any of them, he's been on top of it. I mean, just boom, let's go. And if you go on there, they got 1K weaves, 3K weaves, they got 4 mils. They have a 4 mil that's sub 8 GPI, grains per inch, for a 4 mil. And that's at a 300 spine. They have one that's like 8.8, I believe, and that is with a 300 spine. So I mean, you're getting sub 9 and sub 8 options with that. And with the 5 mils, you can go heavy if you're into the heavier stuff. You can go light if you're in the light stuff. Personally, I like speed. I think that's what kills for me is pin gap, heat of the moment. You draw back and you're on that animal. I want as little of problems as I can think of. I just want to be able to draw back, know my pin, be comfortable with that situation, and let it rip. Not worry too much about too many pins, not worried about what pin. I know that it's 20, 30, 40. I actually on my SR6 it's 20, 30, 50. So if I have to get past that, then I can dial it. That's not a huge deal. But all I gotta say is this is the gear that I am gonna be using for 2025. I have no regrets. I actually got on the Kühle arrow shaft really late, so I had a very quick change up. And let me tell you, it was the fastest tuning with my bow that I've ever had. I mean, I've used a lot of different shafts. They're down in previous videos, and by far this has done phenomenal. I really like the Ngulebe, and I like the way that the company is ran. I like everything about it. So, but yeah, just recap. These are the Kühles. We got Spot Hogg, we got Bowtech, we have HHA 365, and that Redline quiver. Really like that Redline quiver. If you can find one, I highly recommend them. I do on the Redline, I will take electrical tape and wrap it around that hook. Same thing that I would do with the tight spot. But if you guys have got any questions about the things that I mentioned, or why I chose this or why I chose that, you can always leave a comment down below. I try to get back with them as fast as possible. Sometimes it's tough with work and life and family and all that stuff, but I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's not as long as the other ones that I usually have. One last thing I will mention is these arrows right here, the Kühle Ngulebes, had the tightest tolerances for weight differences. Whenever it came to the spine of the arrow, it was very easy to find, and they were all pretty much in the same spot. Next thing was all the inserts, outserts, all of those things were about the same. So just some things to look at whenever, you know, if you're in an off season or you didn't draw a tag or whatever you're in, just remember that if you're looking into shafts, make sure you give Kühle a look, because I did previously with their original company, Mamba Archery, and then I ended up with Kühle, got in contact with them because I was missing an insert, and as soon as I heard the story, talked to the owner, and then shot him, it was game over. I've never fallen in love with a shaft like this, like an arrow shaft this fast. I mean, just the tunability of it, everything that happens with it is just easy. It's very consistent and a very good company. So remember them. Of course, Evolution Outdoors. Everybody pretty much knows Spot Hogg. Everybody pretty much knows HHA, and everybody pretty much knows Bowtech. So, like I said, you got any questions, please let me know. You can leave it in the comments below. You can hit subscribe if you want, and a like. Like lets me know how many people actually like the content that I'm putting out. So until next time, remember, always train for the pursuit, and you guys have happy hunting and be successful.